NHL action, everybody. We're welcoming back Dana Lane. Last night we had 2 videos out in the NHL, and again, they're just getting back from the All-Star break, so nothing was pressing as far as pushing a pick rather than a lean. Capitals fell through for us, but Chicago did come through. So 1-1 to get started off, and we're just going to move forward. Detroit Red Wings tonight, Dana, taking on Tampa Bay Lightning. And, of course, Tampa, red hot going into the break. 9-2 last month. They're led by Ben Bishop and their scorer, Kucherov, who has 16 points in the last 18 games. All right, Detroit, do they have enough in the tank after the All-Star break to brush that the rust off and take on Tampa? That's a hard place to play.
Yeah, it certainly is. And this is probably a game that if we weren't focused on it, that I might pass on at minus $1.60. A little high for my taste, but certainly it's warranted. We see about a large amount of money coming in right now on the Detroit Red Wings on the money line. A little bit on Tampa, or I'm sorry, money on the puck line, but more money coming in on Tampa on the money line. So we still get these guys that love to take that minus 1.5, but you know, we're looking at minus $2.05 to take plus 1.5, so we're not interested in that. But Tampa, you know, one of the statistics that I love in the National Hockey League that they've started to put out is shots versus shots allowed in the third period in close games. And Detroit and Tampa couldn't be any further apart. In fact, Tampa is 7th in the league in this category as they have 52%, which means that they have, as far as total shots, they have 52% more in that situation than their opposing team. And you know, Detroit is right at the middle in the league in the 15th spot, and they're about 50% in that league. But the reason is if you watch Tampa Bay play in these games that's real close in that third period, they have no problem in bringing their defensemen up. So when you had Hedman and you have Strawman come up in the third period, that applies a lot more pressure on the opposing team when they're trying to set down or they're trying to, you know, put their foot down on a third period victory. But
well, of course, and also, Dana, with the third period, that's when it's most critical for scoring. In Tampa, they seem to have a similar pattern to what they did last year. This team not only knows how to turn it on in the third period per se, they also know how to turn it on in the second half of the season. And typically a money line at over $1.50 for me, you know, I tend to stay away. But if the risk is worth it like this, I tend to jump on it. The reason I don't jump on a puck line with this, I don't really necessarily like a puck line that's only giving back 180. I think anything from 190 and up is worth the value, worth the risk on the puck line. Again, that's my take on that. And again, Detroit, they're just not a fast-paced team. This is a much different team than years past. I don't know how much of an edge that they do hold here. So what do you like officially for a pick, or are you going to just kind of pass on this one?
No, officially, we'll take Tampa minus $1.60 in this situation. I think it's by far pretty obvious to me, and Detroit's depleted and defensively, so it's Tampa Bay definitely in this game for me.
Okay, well, I like that. And again, Tampa's picking up steam. Detroit on the road. They're just a different team than years past. So I think you're on the right side. And also, I'm going to be putting out my plays in the NHL as well because our viewers, they want to hold us accountable, and rightfully so. I'm also on your side tonight. I'm putting a couple units on Tampa minus the 160. I feel real good about that. Wouldn't surprise me if the puck line did cover, but sometimes it's better safe than leave that little edge for the bookie. So, okay, Dana, I appreciate your time. We're going to break down another video. Let's go get it tonight and beat the book, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.